Okay. Always a lot of talk about clogging on geeetech hot ends. I've never had a clog on any M's or T's. I know people don't believe me, don't really care. But it just doesn't happen. So I decided that I'd join the club, and I clogged my hot end intentionally. You can see the Bowden tube that was here. It's probably a little hard to focus on, but you can see there's a piece of off-colored filament there. What that is, all up in here, it's just clogged right up with this black nasty, well, it's black and gray filament from the other two sides. This filament is supposed to be nice and white. So what happened was that I just plain didn't put filament in this side. The Bowden tube was in, pushed all the way in like it's supposed to be, but I didn't put filament in, and I extruded some filament with the other two. What happens is the melted filament gets pushed up into a Bowden tube that doesn't have any filament in it. So I'm just push this clog out with another piece of filament if I get lucky enough for it to come loose. If it doesn't, you can always heat the tube up with a lighter or something until it's soft enough. Let's see if I can get it to come out one-handed here. Oh, come on. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this one-handed. No. Anyway. Let's push it out. This little nasty bunch of filament. So, I'm going to see if I can't demonstrate this. I'm going to put just a little short piece of tube. My hot end's already hot. I'm going to put just a little piece of tube in there. It's all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to put this little short piece of filament in that tube. And let's see if I have a pen that'll make a mark on here. Now, should have thought of that ahead of time. Alright, I don't have a pen that's going to do it. So, I'll take and mark it this way. I'm going to put a piece of black tape right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and extrude some plastic from one of the other extruders. Yeah, see that? That piece of filament is getting pushed up out of the hot end. You can see my black tape marker moving up there. I've only extruded about 50 millimeters out of another extruder. And you can see this is getting pushed way up. So what's happening is melted filament is getting pushed up into my Bowden tube, and it's going to create a clog just like I just showed you. So that's why you always need to make sure that Bowden tube is pushed all the way in, because if it's not, there'll be a cavity, a 4 millimeter diameter cavity between the Bowden tube and the hot end, and that filament that you see getting pushed up into the side would get into the cold part of the heat break tubes and harden there and create your clog, the same as it's doing now. Even my Bowden tube is pushed all the way in, but you can see it push this piece of filament up. So there's going to be, what, about 15 millimeters worth of clog in the bottom of this Bowden tube now because it's up where it's getting cold, and the extruders won't be able to push this filament back through. So that's why you always have to keep both sides loaded with filament. Those Bowden tubes have to be pushed all the way into the hot end or you're going to get clogs. It's as simple as that. Okay, so I'm going to take this off now. Should have been kind of obvious what happened there, right? Because you saw that filament move up. And yeah, it's still kind of hot there. I might get lucky and be able to push this out. Let's try. Nope, that's clogged. That's tighter than anything. And let's see, the light I can see, it's all the way up into there. That filament gets up in there and hardens, creates a clog. This can all be avoided just by making sure those tubes are all the way in, and you always have filament in there, and that you purge those sides out. If you're not using them for a while, purge them out so the filament that's in there doesn't just cook and create that nasty black residue. There, I managed to get that piece out, and you probably can't see the color. It's partially black and gray, but there you go. That's how these clogs happen.